All right, today we're going to talk about personification. Now, personification is a kind of figurative language. We're going to start talking about lots of different kinds of figurative language in language and about what those look like, how they're used in writing, and how a lot of times what we talk about with figurative language is that it's not necessarily literally saying what we mean. So, let me give you an example. We've talked maybe in the past in your classes about similes and metaphors. We're comparing two things. Well, today we're also going to kind of talk about describing an object. We're going to give personification. If you look at the word, you can literally see how it has the word person in it. Remember that. Personification is when a writer gives human qualities to an object or an animal. So, for example, if you were looking at a tree, you might say that it has bending arms. Well, the arms aren't really on the tree, they're branches, but that's the kind of quality we gave it. It's used to add interest or understanding to a piece of writing. Let's talk about some examples that you might see personification in your world. Well, let's look at this little nursery rhyme right here. Chances are you've probably heard it before. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout, tip me over and pour me out. A little song for you this morning. Now, we want to identify first what is the non living object? What is the thing that is not a human? It should be the teapot. We know that unless you're in Beauty and the Beast, a teapot cannot come to life. Now, how does this object act like a person? Well, there are lots of different things. They say that she's short and stout, that this is her handle, right? When it's using words like my to describe the teapot, well, we know the teapot can't really talk. But in this, the teapot specifically shouts, right? Hopefully your teapot at home doesn't actually shout words and talks. Two things that a teapot can't actually do. Now, personification does make it easier to visualize as you read. In this example, the hot sun tortured the earth below, and the wilted flowers begged to be watered. There are a couple of things here that we think about with personification. The words that come to mind are tortured, begged. These aren't things necessarily that the flowers or the sun could literally do, but it is something that we can use human-like qualities to help describe the picture better. So we're actually going to draw a picture here of what the author wants us to see. So it mentions wilted flowers. So, you might have like sad flowers. Bear with me, I'm not like the greatest artist, but you'll get the picture. And let's draw some sad petals on those flowers. Definitely, they're not all perky, just sad. That one might be a little too happy, but that's okay. And let's have a sun. And it said that it tortured it. So I'm going to make the sun really big and have these really aggressive sun rays. A little orange for more effect. All right, you get the picture. Let's go down and now let's look at the last example. Personification often also brings emotions. The trees scraped their long finger against the glass as the wind howled in the dark. They want to try to bring about or evoke emotion and feeling. What is the kind of feeling that you feel? The trees scraped their long fingers against the glass as the wind howled in the dark. To me, that feels very fearful, full of fear or eerie feelings. kind of feels like something that might happen in like the spooky scene of a movie during Halloween or something a little bit freaky. What actions cause these emotions? What was the thing described in that sentence that made you feel that way? Well, for me, let me change color so you can see. It was the scraping fingers. I can almost like hear that in my mind. The scraping fingers or the howling wind. Remember, wind doesn't actually howl like a person or an animal, but that's kind of what it sounds like, which is what we compare it to. Let's look at the last example. The soft clouds floated lazily across the sky while the breeze whispered a gentle song. This sentence is trying to evoke what kind of feeling or emotion? Well, if I'm thinking of clouds and a breeze, I'm thinking of something very calm or relaxing. And what were the actions here? Well, they said lazily. If we're being lazy at home, we're probably pretty calm. And then when it says whispered a song, I don't know about you, but I'd much rather feel relaxed with something being calm and whispering than if someone were yelling at me. So go back and review this page. Think about places where you have seen personification before, specifically maybe in Disney movies or books that you've read, and think about how they brought non-living things, added human-like qualities, and brought them to life to describe them better.